Hi. You know, Jaipur, no doubt, is like the cultural capital of India. You enter Jaipur and it's a riot of colors and smells and flavors and, a gamut of emotions. That is Jaipur. And it would have been unfair if we are doing a series on 21 recipes of India and we don't include Jaipur, right? The recipe from Jaipur is Jaipuri Gatta Curry. It's an easy, no onion, no garlic, simple to cook, probiotic rich, flavor rich recipe. Hi, I'm Ranveer Brar and you're watching India in 21 Recipes. Let's get started. You know, Jaipur food has always been royal and it comes with its own lineage of meva and mava, or as we say, milk and dry fruits. And Jaipuri gattas are different from the gattas or the dumplings of Rajasthan because they're richer, right? Let's get started. So first of all, you want to pick out a knife that is broad bladed, big, holds well, because you want to use this knife for a lot of pressure. We're going to chop some dried figs and that requires pressure. And to build that pressure, you need a good, sturdy, strong knife. So I'm using this beautiful Swiss modern carving knife with a 20 centimeter blade and a beautiful walnut wood handle. You got to chop the dried figs as fine as you can. Now these can be really, really tough to get through, and that's why you need a bigger knife which will take your weight and hence cut easily. And then you've got to complete the dry fruit circle, right? So chopped cashews, chopped almonds. You can chop as fine as you want. As long as you're not slicing off a piece of your finger, you're all good. The only slightly difficult part of this recipe is what I'm doing right now. Rest everything's easy peasy. It's an effortless recipe, I'm telling you. So this is besan, chickpea flour, ajwain, caraway seeds, and now all the chopped dry fruit, a little bit of oil or ghee, not too much, just a little bit, turmeric and red chilli. Here goes the turmeric, and a little bit of red chilli for color. The idea is to make sure that the shortening or the fat that you've put gets mixed evenly. In the meanwhile, let's get some water heated. Salt. Let's come back to our dough. I'm going to add yogurt to it. Not too much, just enough to bind it together. If you want a vegan option, you can either add soy yogurt or just water. Beautiful. And you allow it to rest. You have to let it rest for at least, I'd say, 10 minutes. Yeah, it will soften up, get a good texture. In the meanwhile, what I'm doing now is for the gravy or the sauce. Stay with me, stay with me. It's not that difficult. Turmeric. It's a yellow colored gravy, so lots of turmeric. A little bit of red chilli, just to brighten up the yellow. Lot of coriander powder, and that's about it. Let's get started on the curry on one side. A little bit of oil, a little bit of ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. Basically butter that's been melted for a really long time till the milk solids condense. You really need to know how to make ghee if you want to learn how to make Indian food. Period. Then I have these dry red chilies. I'm keeping 2 of them ready. And I'm mixing everything in the yogurt. Now this recipe can be easily made without ginger and garlic, right? But if you want to add a little bit of ginger and garlic to your yogurt paste, you're more than welcome. So the reason Jaipur food is a little different from other Rajput or Rajasthan food is because Jaipur had a lot of intermarriages with the Mughals, and that is why there is a rich Mughal touch to some of Jaipuri dishes. For example, in this gatta, some people would also add khoya or reduced milk, right? And that lends another element of richness. I don't normally prefer adding it because there's also this lightness about the dish that you want to preserve. There go the dry red chilies. Let them swell up a little bit. Leave flavor in the oil. And now here goes the yogurt mixture. Already smells so good. Let me rinse it with some water. So here's the dough. The dough is now nicely rested. We just roll it into cylinders. The size of the cylinder should be the size of the pan that you want to poach it in, and it shouldn't be too thick, because if you want it to cook all the way through, then it can't be really thick. Some people add a little bit of baking powder or baking soda into this. I do not prefer doing that, because yogurt is already adding that leavening, that rise. Just trim the edges. Optional, but it gives a nice shape in the end. One of the most underrated ingredients that Western India knows how to celebrate is besan, chickpea flour. There are more than 5,000 to 6,000 recorded recipes of just chickpea flour alone between Rajasthan and Gujarat, the two states that sort of celebrate lentils, besan, vegetarianism. And I mean, if you look at it, it's basically besan dumplings in a yogurt curry, right? But look at the detail, look at the fact that it's poached first, it's going to be shallow fried later, put together, and the detail in the curry. It's truly a celebration of a simple, humble besan like no other. Now what you're waiting for in your gattas is basically for them to start floating on top. When they start floating on top of the water, it basically means they're cooked all the way inside. Also, every time you put them to poach, for the first minute, minute and a half, let the water boil. After that, just let it simmer on slow, because initially you just want a crust to form so it doesn't crumble, and later you want it to cook from inside. Now I usually like to really roast my dahi really well, because all the masalas that are in it, they get roasted along as well. If you want, you don't have to roast it so much, don't have to reduce it so much. After it's reduced, I add some water and then bring the consistency back again. The consistency, you can keep it slightly thinner, because once you add the gattas, they're also going to thicken the gravy, right? See, it's already coming to the top. If you see the gattas, they're already coming to the top. If you see, the gatta is cooked from the inside. I'm taking the cooked gatta and I'm just crumbling some of it in my gravy. 1, to make it richer. 2, to make it thicker. So you could deep fry them or shallow fry them, but the important thing is you have to fry them. If you don't fry them, it's not the same thing. They have to be double cooked. See what happens now is double cooking. 1, it ends a nice crispy edge to it. Also, even after you steam it, they're still slightly doughy. So it just takes away the doughiness. Perfect. And now all these beauties get rolled into the gravy. And we have a winner. Beautiful. Look at this. Majestic is the word. And I've already crumbled the raw gattas, so they will add this thickness, and also they will sort of create a bridge between the gatta and the curry. If you want, you can also add a little bit of powdered chickpea flour in your yogurt to help it thicken. While tempering, you could also add fennel seeds, sauf. When you're adding the whole red chilies, you could also add crushed fennel seeds and crushed coriander seeds. Salt, a little bit of sugar to balance the sourness of the yogurt. You have to let them cook in the curry for at least 10 minutes, right? Now they need to soak up the curry. Also what frying does is, frying makes them sort of hollow from inside, so they're more ready to soak up the curry. That's why ideally you should fry the gattas and put the hot gattas inside the curry so it sort of, soaks it up immediately. Beautiful. I am so glad I chose this dish in the 21 recipes of our country, because this dish needs to be celebrated. I mean, what is it? Just yogurt, chickpeas, but look at the beauty that we have in this pan. Unparalleled. Here's a slice of Rajasthan from me to you. This is Ranveer Brar, and I'll keep sharing these slices of Indian culinary history, Indian culture, only here on India in 21 recipes. While I go take a dig at this, you go collect the ingredients and make it. For more such recipes, follow the Victorinox YouTube handle. See you in a bit.